Every day, citizens around the country are faced with new dilemmas. Dilemmas that affect them profoundly. Whether it's injustice, discrimination, falling through the cracks, scandals and cronyism, balances of power, ethics, religious freedoms, state versus citizens, and unfunded mandates, and the list goes on and on and on. Welcome to Speak Up. It's directed at those who have fallen through the cracks, and it gives them a voice. It's your turn to speak up, to stand up and fight back. Welcome to another show of Speak Up. I'm Kevin Avard, your host, and today we're going to be talking with a tormented mother, somebody who has been struggling with a custody case for approximately 6 years. Some decisions that may be alarming and that need to be considered, and I have my guest here, Jamie Doherty. Mm-hmm. And welcome to the show, Jamie.
Thank you.
I know this is a tough topic for you, but we want to talk about what is troubling you and about this custody case. And you said you've been having custody issues with your child for 6 years?
Yes.
And let's start in the beginning. So you had a relationship with a man.
Yep.
Is he your husband?
Nope,
Okay.
just a boyfriend.
Just your boyfriend. And from what I understand, he was pretty much a partier.
Yes.
So take us from there.
Okay.
How you met him, how things transpired, and where the custody battle begins.
Okay. I met him when I was 11, and we started a relationship for about 6 years, and then I got pregnant with Emily. During those 6 years, he was actually very abusive, physically, mentally, but I always looked past it.
May I interrupt?
Yes.
How old were you when you had Emily?
I was 20.
Okay.
Yep. So I was 20 years old when I had her. She was, of course, the love of my life. I just couldn't wait for her. She was just everything. And he was there for the most part, but he got involved in a motorcycle club, which became his number one love. So we kind of got pushed aside. So everything went good. You know, sorry, trying to get past all that. But we broke up because of the physical and mental abuse. I couldn't take it no more, and I couldn't have her endure it.
Were you in a shelter at any point?
No,
Okay.
no. My mother, luckily, took us in, no problem. So we broke up, and I moved in with my mom, me and Em. And, you know, he wanted to see her, and then he went to Derry Courthouse and tried to file for custody for her. He got it at first until the judge realized, you know, what was going on. I had to refile and get her back.
Well, let me ask you a question. So he what did he do? He filed a motion. How did he get custody? He just didn't go to the court and say,
He wanted custody. Yeah, he didn't like where we were staying.
Okay.
So he basically went in with a bunch of lies, you know, kind of panicked the judge for a second until I went in and explained the whole situation. So I then, at that point, got permanent custody of her.
Was there at any point any type of mediation in that process? Was there a guardian ad litem, any court orders for both of you to substantiate your claims?
No. Nope, we just kind of went in front of the judge. I think I got the lawyer. No, Joseph Caputo at the time came in too, so he did help with that.
Okay.
But after the judge heard my story and what Elwood had done and who he was, she immediately turned the custody back over to me. And I had full custody of her. And
at that time, did he have a criminal record?
it was starting, yes, he did.
Okay.
Yep, and it was starting to progress because of who he was.
All right.
So, you know, the judge being aware of what, you know, came about. And then, sorry, I just go back a long time. So basically, you know, I got custody of her and he had visitation. And he did not take the visitation with her. You know, I enforced it because I thought it was important for my child, even though we didn't work out, she should be part of her father and her father's family.
Right.
So that's what I did, but
Was he paying child support at this time?
So. You know, the state was going after him, taking away his license, you know, and then he'd pay it back up and everything. But his mother and his family were the ones to take her most of the time. So then after about a year, I got pregnant with my son, my middle child. And everything, I had her, I was working, I was a full-time mom to both of them. And, the place we were living at she had her own room, I was working hard and everything was great. And then Elwood asked to have a weekend visit. So I allowed that, But he took her to North Conway. I was supposed to go up to pick her up to see where he lived, to see what kind of, where he was living. But he never told me where he lived. So when the day came that I was supposed to get her back, I didn't know where he was, and he wouldn't bring her back. And he was just phone call after phone call, and it was bad. So then he finally called and said that he wanted to keep Emily for a week. So I wasn't okay with it because I haven't been away from her for that long.
Did you ask at that point, hey, by the way, where do you live?
I did. So we set it up. Well, he did, and he said, we'll set it up to where I can see that following Friday. So, I kept in regular phone contact with her, with him. I didn't expect anything. Nothing was wrong. So that Friday came, and he didn't bring her down. And I was like, calling Elwood, what's going on? And he just said that he was going to bring her back Sunday. And he just kept pushing the days. So Sunday came and went. Still couldn't find Emily.
Were you able to talk to her on the phone at any point?
Mm-hmm. Nope, the whole time.
And she would say,
Mommy, I want to come home. When am I coming to see you? I want to see Cameron, her new brother. So I was like, we're working on it. So Monday came, and Elwood again was supposed to bring her down. Well, he didn't, so court closed because I was at work. So I called him, and no, actually, Monday was the 24th. I went to the court, actually, that day. I took the day out of work. And I filed to get kidnapping charges to get her back. So when I filed out the emergency ex parte, the courts informed me that I have to inform him. So I did. So I called, I made the phone call.
Okay.
As I'm supposed to. And his girlfriend at the time answered and said that, I told her I was at the Derry courthouse. I got, filing this motion, and she said, don't even bother. And I said, what do you mean? She said, we did that yesterday in Conway, and we got full custody of her. So I was set back, because I got no phone call, No, I'm sorry, I'm messing everything up. Monday I went, no, it was Tuesday I went, the 25th. I'm sorry.
Whether it's a Monday or Tuesday,
I'm sorry, no, I'm messing everything up. They filed on the 24th, September 24th. I went September 25th, 2007.
Okay.
So they did that on the 24th, and the judge approved it. Of whatever it was they were asking. I had no idea. I didn't know they were at the courthouse.
You got no papers?
Nothing.
A sheriff didn't come? You didn't get anything in the mail? Nothing certified? All of a sudden you get notified by the fact that, from the girlfriend that, we have full custody now, and the court never sent you anything?
No. They never made a phone call to me like they were supposed to.
I might have missed something. Did he tell you where he lived?
No.
All right.
Otherwise, I wouldn't went there.
Right. That was definitely a red flag, though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you couldn't have served him papers even if you wanted to?
Right.
All right. How were you notified that he had custody?
Well, when I went down on the 25th to file the emergency ex parte for kidnapping charges, I had to, it says you have to contact the other party. So that's what I did. And that's how I found out, is through his girlfriend.
Right, but still there was nothing from the court that notified you that, okay, so you only had to hurt whatever she said, and that could have been true or not true at that point.
Right, well, at the point, I got upset. She hung up on me, so I went to the clerks in Derry. Derry court clerks called to the Conway, and they verified there was a motion filed, and it was granted.
Really?
Yes, and I had to go to
Even
Conway.
though you weren't notified?
Yes, yep.
What was the motion?
He filed a emergency ex parte saying that I worked too much, and I had her in daycare for 17 hours a day if I even picked her up at all.
What judge approved that?
Judge Pamela Albee out of Carroll County, Conway Family Division.
And so the judge didn't see that it was important to notify the mother?
No, he said that he attempted to try and...
How?
Phone contact.
But nothing through letters or nothing? The court did absolutely no investigation to find out anything? Just took his word for it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So where are we now in the story? That's interesting.
We're in the beginning of a terrible, terrible nightmare. So they said I have to go to, Conway, which was 2 hours away from where I was, and I was upset because
I'm sorry, who said that you had to go there to Conway?
the Derry Court and Conway Court, because
Okay.
now that's where the case is held. And I didn't understand it because the case was already taken care of in Derry for about 2 years prior to that. So I wasn't understanding how he was able to get, custody of her up in Carroll County where she remained in Derry. So
So there was a Derry court order saying that you had full custody. Mm-hmm. This other court just totally overruled that custody case.
that's what we thought, yes. But I guess what happened was when I got custody of her, my lawyer didn't inform me that we have to go back and make it permanent. So the case just kind of vanished out of Derry. They put it aside.
Who was your lawyer?
Joseph Caputo,
Is he still your lawyer?
no.
And where does he practice?
Idlewild, Derry, New Hampshire. Yeah. He's not my lawyer no more. So now I have to take it to Conway. So I'm up in Conway trying to figure out how they gave custody of this child to this guy, and just based on really no immediate danger of anything. I worked too much. I was a single mother working. And I had to fight with the judge and everything, and she just didn't want to hear it. She just kept custody with him. And I don't know why or what happened, but...
Well, how many motions did you make with this judge?
Well, I filed an objection saying that he did not contact me. I would have been up there that day if he had only done what he was supposed to. And she just basically said it didn't matter.
He has a lawyer at this time,
Yes.
and you don't.
No, I had Caputo going in at first, yes. I had
Okay.
Joseph Caputo.
And Caputo put the motion in saying you object to this particular...
Oh, yes.
And the judge said, I don't want to hear it.
Basically, yeah, she's...
What was that based on?
that I didn't pick her up from daycare. She thought that what Elwood was saying was true, that I didn't care for my child.
And the court and Judge Albee
Yes.
did not do any investigation, didn't send a guardian ad litem,
No.
that both of you would, no mediator, nothing, just basically hearsay at this point.
Yes. So we did the court hearing. It didn't go over. I thought I was going to be able to bring Emily home that day based on, doctor's records, everything that I've been the sole provider for her. Mm-hmm. But it didn't go over that way. She then, at that point, ordered mediation for us. So he filed in September. We had our first mediation in November, I believe it was.
For custody.
Yeah, well, the mediation, yes, for the custody. So I was set to do mediation. I had to follow with what they were giving me access to her for, and I believe it was just phone contact at that point. Still didn't know where he was. And
Do you have a record?
yes.
Okay.
No. What do you mean, a record?
Do you have a criminal record?
No, I don't.
So the judge couldn't say, okay, well, hey, we got a laundry list of things against you as a mother. Mm-hmm. Nothing like that?
No.
You've never been in jail?
No.
I obviously asked that.
Yes. No, never been
That's a trick
arrested.
question.
Yeah.
So there was nothing for the judge to say, wait, here's a red flag.
No, there wasn't.
Now, this is a judge or a marital master?
Judge.
Judge.
Yes. Yeah, because there was a marital master behind it. I forget her name, but she was behind it at first. But Albee
Okay.
is the actual judge.
All right, so there's some mediation going on. Do you still have your lawyer at this point?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And now he has a lawyer.
Right.
So both our lawyers talked, and we made it an agreement that only Elwood and I would go to mediation to try to do this together. I mean, what could happen in a courthouse? So I went up to Conway, just me and a friend. My mom stayed back because we were just doing mediation. And I was sitting in the room waiting to do mediation with Elwood, and so was the mediator. And it was just a long wait, and I just was kind of like, what's going on? Because Elwood was in the courthouse. Well, the court clerk came in and said, we're not going to do mediation today. And I was just kind of taken back by it. And then when I walked out of the mediator room, I got served papers by Elwood. Again.
You got served papers by who?
By Elwood, that were granted by the judge already. Another emergency ex parte.
And who served you the papers?
I believe one of the clerks did.
Okay, it wasn't the sheriff?
No, I don't believe. No, the sheriff did serve him after court.
So you drove 2 hours up north to
Yeah.
have mediation with
Yeah.
your attorney?
No.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's
So
okay.
you drove up to have mediation. Okay, you're in the courthouse, you're waiting. You want to find out what's going on. Then all of a sudden you get served papers that say what?
That I had nude pictures up of my daughter all over the internet. And Elwood was very disturbed by this. So, of course, I'm upset. Now, how he filed these papers without his lawyer, because he had a lawyer, and I had one. And when I asked the clerks that, they said that this was such an emergency that he could file.
Let me ask you a question, point blank. Do you have new pictures of your child on the internet?
No, I do not.
Okay, anything like that?
No.
Okay, so what evidence does Elwood
Have?
Yeah.
Nothing. Just hearsay.
He couldn't produce that for the court?
No.
Did the court investigate that?
Well, we went in for an emergency hearing, again, without our lawyers.
Because of the pictures?
Yes. And when he said that he heard from his father and to his sister, to his mother, that there was new pictures of my daughter on the internet, MySpace, the judge wanted to hear it right away. So we go into the court, and he explained what the pictures were. And they were actually very disturbing how he explained it. And he did not have the pictures on him. He had actually not even viewed them. He only heard. So the judge right then and there told me I have 2 weeks to produce the pictures. My parenting rights were stripped. I could not see, talk to her, nothing. And I had to produce those pictures to her in 2 weeks.
And if you don't have pictures that don't exist, then what?
Well, there was pictures on the MySpace, but they weren't nude. It was just, her at 2 years old, in like a bathing suit bottom in the backyard of a private, where we were living, in the pool with my niece. So in the meantime, Elwood had filed with the Derry Police Department, Conway Police Department, the National Board, like where people investigate everything for the new pictures of pornographic babies and everything. And I had detectives calling me saying, they need to see these pictures because they could not get access to MySpace to view them because he said they were all over the internet. But it was
But
only...
they couldn't find them?
No. So I had to give all my information out for MySpace. Well, after
Did you invite him to look at your computer? Or?
Yes. Oh, yeah. I gave him my password. I gave him all access to everything. And everybody viewed them, and I have the reports that there is nothing pornographic or indecent about these pictures whatsoever. And that Elwood was advised if he were to file anywhere, or his family, he would be arrested for making a big deal out of nothing, basically.
All right, so now they're looking at him with a jaundiced look.
Yes.
But still he has custody of the child?
Yes.
All right, so you're exonerated from these lewd pictures, if you will, and now where does it stand?
So now, there's a relief of, I have all this saying there's nothing wrong. So we go back to court with the pictures, with the reports, with whatever came back as a feedback. And the judge, in her own opinion, said that it was wrong for me to put those pictures out without confronting Elwood first. And I said, they've been up there for about a year, and he's had access to my MySpace to see this. She said she didn't care about that. So I showed her all the reports, that nothing was wrong with them.
So you as a parent didn't have a right to put those pictures up?
No.
Okay.
No. And of course I got very upset because I'm like, what about, America's Funniest Home Videos where they have their little kids, and the one walking around naked that slipped and fell that was cute. They win, and I'm getting in trouble for something that was private that only my friends and family could view, that know me and Emily, basically. And she just wouldn't have it. She said that, in her own opinion, that it was disturbing that I put those pictures up, and I don't know how she worded it, but it's all documented, that where a bathing suit cover wouldn't, like, Emily didn't have the top on at 2 years old almost. So she's going to grow up to think that if a man were to fondle her in those areas a bathing suit didn't cover, is going to be okay because of me.
This is what the judge said?
Mm-hmm. And it's all written in the court order. So she still kept my rights away and ordered me supervised visitation with my daughter.
Have you seen your daughter lately?
I haven't seen my daughter since after Christmas.
Of this year?
Yes.
How often do you see her?
It was every weekend, and then it went to every other weekend, and then I couldn't get a hold of Elwood to set up the time travels of, who's going to pick her up, who's going to drop her off. So it just very slowly, just gradually went away.
In this process, we started our conversation talking about his record. Did he commit any crimes in this 6-year span? Did he clean up his act, or?
No. No, there's a lot of domestic records between him and his
Significant,
girlfriend,
okay.
wife, ex-wife, live-in mother, moved out. There's a lot of history with up there, police departments between the two of them.
Okay.
And he's actually facing a big one right now.
Which is?
In July of last year, him and his wife got into a pretty bad fight where he's got 5 different charges that she called and complained. And he actually served 2 weeks in prison, which I had no idea he was in prison. I had no idea where my daughter was because I couldn't get through to them. But he strangled her. He threw a prescription bottle at her face. He punched her with a closed fist, threatened to kill her, and made her get on her hands and knees. And as I believe, we have the papers with us right now. So he served 2 weeks in jail. And I had no idea of any of this.
And where was your daughter during this time?
She was there. She was there the whole time.
Did she tell you about it?
She told me they got into a bad fight, but she didn't get into detail with it.
How old is she now?
She's 9. She'll be 10 this year.
And what are your general conversations that you have with her? What do you talk about, if you don't mind me asking?
We talk about school. We talk about her brothers and sisters. She talks a lot about my side of the family because she misses them. And, you know, a lot of times if she gets started talking about the way she, you know, how she feels about certain things, she gets interrupted by either Maggie or Elwood, saying that's not a proper conversation to have. And they actually relay messages through her to get to me, which are pretty sad.
So where are we are you still fighting for custody? Or
Yes.
How are you doing that?
Any way I can.
Well, what was your last attempt?
Motions in the court.
Which were?
Want custody back, to change the venue, to bring her back to where she, you know, where she belongs with me.
What was your latest motion? When was it the most recent motion that you made?
A couple weeks ago, January, I believe, but we filed motion after motion. So there's so many motions out there. My case file with her is about 3 case files thick, just for this one custody
I
hearing.
believe it.
But we file motions of, I'm concerned about Emily's welfare.
Does the court know that he spent 2 weeks in jail for domestic violence?
Yes,
Okay. Has he been convicted of domestic violence, or is he waiting? Is he pending trial?
he's pending trial.
And have you put that in your motion?
Judge Albee knows about it.
Okay, but have you put it in your motion?
Yes.
Okay. So have you had a response from the court?
No. We even put in a motion for the findings of facts, rulings of law. Never heard an answer from that either.
And do you have an attorney now?
No.
May I ask why?
They're expensive.
Yeah.
They're very expensive. And I tried going through LARC, and for whatever reason, they say that there's a conflict. I can't-
LARC?
Yes.
LARC is?
It's like a lawyers you can get that are like, you know, low rate or, you know, pro bono. But when I try to get through to get one, because I desperately need one, they say there's a conflict of interest, I can't get one.
Do you have that in writing?
No.
They just said that there's a conflict of interest and we're not going to take your case.
Yes. And good luck.
It's interesting. So when do you expect to hear from Judge Albee? Albee or is Abby?
Albee,
Albee.
whenever she decides to fill out motions. My newest thing is we had court, and Elwood, of course, goes and throwing crazy stuff. So she just believes what he says. She doesn't have any proof or backup or nothing from him. So she wants to hear about my other children. And I said, my other children are irrelevant to this case.
Judge, stay away from her children.
Yeah, I said it's irrelevant to this case. My
Right.
kids have, my other 2 children who are not with the same father of Elwood have nothing to do with Emily.
Right?
And she defaulted me.
What does that mean?
Means that I cannot put in any motions to see Emily, talk to Emily, or nothing until I produce these documents to her.
So she wants to know how you're treating your own children, your other children that are not involved with this. Am I missing something? Have you violated a court order or something like that? You don't have a criminal record.
No.
You've not been cited for anything to do with child abuse. DCYF hasn't come knocked on your door.
No. They've knocked on Elwood's quite a few times.
And yet she wants to. Can I ask, is Judge Albee related to Elwood?
We've questioned that. We've questioned something's going on because what they can get away with is just sick. You know, things that I prove to to the judge, and she just passes it along like, you know. I mean, for instance, this whole criminal thing that he's got going on with Maggie right now, he's pre-waiting trial, and I spoke to the prosecutor handling the case, and she wants to put him away for 3.5 to 7 years because of this. And I told Judge Albee, and she got all upset, defensive, and said, you know, well, that's out of his character. I don't think nothing's going to happen with that.
How would she know?
I don't know. I don't know.
So for her to say this is out of his character, so the judge, is that in writing? Or is that in the court documents?
That's on audio.
So for the judge to say this is out of his character, how does she know him so intimately?
I don't know. That was questioned.
That's very interesting.
Yes.
So at this point, you're just waiting to hear from Judge Albee to find out what happens if he's found guilty by the prosecutor. Then what?
Well, when Elwood went to jail for 2 weeks, again, I had no phone call to know that, and we actually, I believe, the guardian ad litem. No, we had a guardian ad litem at the time.
Mm-hmm.
She was not even notified that he was incarcerated. So I never knew. So how I found out was, I believe, through the courts, because I believe the case went in front of Judge Albee at first, and then it got transferred to Supreme Court down in Ossipee, or Madison. So that's how I found out. So she knew all about it, but Maggie, his wife,
Right.
went in to file for guardianship of my daughter. And
Are they going to get separated by any chance? Are they in filing for it? This is interesting. So she's going to file for custody.
Guardianship.
Guardianship. Well,
She
while
did.
he's in custody or pending prison. Is she related to the judge?
We don't know. We don't know. We've tried to backtrack everything, names, compare. I mean, we've tried.
Tell me a little bit about the guardian ad litem. What was their finding? They weren't notified of these pending charges.
No.
So what were her findings up to, or his findings? I don't know. Is it male or female? Doesn't matter.
Me, female.
What was the guardian ad litem's findings up to this point in your case?
So what she's witnessed, well, this is our second guardian ad litem on the case. And the second one that came on, she has been a miracle. You know, she's the one that actually initiated me and Emily to finally have face-to-face time without being, you know, in a closed-in room with some stranger watching us.
Right.
Who, at
A
the
natural
time,
setting.
yep, who at the time, that supervisor was best friends with the guardian ad litem that tore my case apart. She took Elwood's word for everything. It's a long story. But the new guardian ad litem was very baffled by a lot what was going on. She couldn't understand.
Okay, let me ask you about the first guardian ad litem. How much did you pay for that one?
I went through a GAL fund.
Okay.
So I don't know how to total. I can't total.
So somebody
it all.
subsidized it?
Yep.
Okay. And how long did that last?
3 years, I believe she was on the case.
3 years.
Yeah.
What were the findings?
Through her?
Yeah.
That I was a bad mom, that I didn't care about my daughter.
And what was the proof?
Nothing. She just
Well-
didn't like me.
There wasn't anything that said you didn't show up for this or you didn't do this or.
Oh, no, there was. There was times where traveling 2.5 hours, you know, sometimes weather gets in the way, so you're late.
Mm-hmm.
You know, traffic, because it's in the Conway, it's like right downtown Conway area, so it's a lot of tourists go down there during the
Right.
summer. I would call, and it's all on phone record, saying, okay, I'm this far away, I'm this far away. I would finally get there, and they would just cancel. They say you're too late. Nice.
So tell me a little bit about the second guardian ad litem. Why is she a godsend? Because she arranged some meetings in a natural environment.
Yes. When the second guardian ad litem came on, Emily and I had no contact for months, nothing. But within a month of her being on the case, Emily and I were having phone conversations, and then we were seeing face to face, and then I got her for the weekends, and I mean everything was going great. And she didn't stay on the case for very long because Elwood was not too happy with mine and Emily's, you know, the way we were progressing.
Right.
So he went in, making a big fit, the same day that I was told about Maggie's guardianship. We had custody because she granted Maggie guardianship of Emily. So he went in saying he didn't like the GAL, so the judge dismissed her immediately.
She didn't ask for your input on that?
No.
Just on Elwood's say, she dismissed it.
Yes, and I believe the new thing is they're not funding GALs anymore, the courts. So this GAL offered to work pro bono because they're she really needed to be on this case. This case could not go without a GAL.
But the
For the
judge said
child's
no,
sake. Yep.
because of exclusively Elwood's testimony.
Yes.
What did Elwood say about this GAO?
He said he didn't like her. She wasn't professional enough. She wasn't doing her job right. He felt that she was biased to him. So the judge dismissed her. That was it. But the guardian ad litem prior to him, Tina Craig, she was very biased. She did not like me. She took his word for everything.
Where was she from?
She was from Conway, the Conway area.
She's from up that area.
Yes. Yeah.
Where is he originally from?
He's originally from New Hampshire, Derry, New Hampshire.
Okay.
Yes. There's
Wow.
a reason.
So right now we're pretty much just pending, waiting for Judge Albee to come up with a decision, based upon what? What are we? The fact that he's. I'm a little incredulous over this because here he's being accused. Obviously, he's not guilty until he's found guilty.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a big enough red flag that he was incarcerated for 2 weeks.
The judge is aware of this.
Are there pictures of Maggie?
Yes, there is.
Has the judge seen those pictures?
I believe so.
Has the prosecutor told you that the judge has seen these by any chance?
No.
Okay,
no.
but the prosecutor has these, and these are on file, these pictures of Maggie.
Yes. They were
And-
taken by the Conway Police, which they're right next to each other, the Conway Police Department and the courthouse. So it had to have gone through Judge Albee first.
Right. These are public documents at this point.
Yes.
And that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So Judge Albee has seen all this, and her comment was, well, this is out of his character?
Yes, and she doesn't think that anything's going to go forth with it. It's all going to get dropped. Which is funny, she says that, because when I spoke with the prosecutor, the new prosecutor that's taken on his case,
Who is that?
I believe her name is Melissa, and she's out of the Ossipee area where the Supreme Court is handling it. And she's not too happy with this case. Elwood has a history of domestic violence, anger. I mean, I've even got stuff on me.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just
When you
baffled.
say I got stuff on me, you mean him hitting you, or?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which I've spoken to about, and she's just very taken back by it. And Maggie, who originally claimed these 5 serious charges, is now saying that she wants to drop all the charges.
But now it's out of her hands, it's in the state's hands.
And that's what I asked her. I said, well, how can she say all these? He gets incarcerated for it, go to court, but now she wants to drop it. And they said they're going to fight it, but if she goes up on stage to witness to him, she's gonna drop the case. And she said if that were the case, then they're going to go after Maggie for falsifying a police report. And Maggie's willing to serve that jail time for him.
Are they afraid of Ellen?
I was. So I would believe she would be. I was very afraid of him. I still am.
If an attorney wants to help you with your case, how would they get in touch with you?
Through my cell phone.
I don't want to put that out on the air. Do you have an email or anything
Yes, I do.
that you care to put out there publicly?
I can do that, yes.
Yeah. Okay, what is it?
It's long.
Okay. Maybe, I'll tell you what, if you want to help Jamie, you can email speakupnh@gmail.com and we'll pass that forward.
Thank you.
So will you keep us informed as to what Judge Albee decides?
Yes.
Okay, and let us know as soon as possible because we want to hear. Is there anything else right now that you want to tell us?
No, that just that I want my daughter back home.
Right. Okay. Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show and talking about your story.
Thank you.
We wish you the best. And you know what? We want your daughter to have her mom and her dad, if at all possible. Maybe he can clean up his life. But, a child needs both parents. Mm-hmm. And it seems like there's a huge disconnect here with both parents having equal access. So we want to thank you for watching Speak Up this week, and we hope that if you want to help out Jamie, please contact us at speakupnh@gmail.com or write me at P.O. Box 207, Nashua, New Hampshire, 03061. And if you have a story that is similar to this and you can document your case, please come on the show. We want to hear it. Until next week, thanks for watching.
Every day, citizens around the country are faced with new dilemmas. Dilemmas that affect them profoundly. Whether it's injustice, discrimination, falling through the cracks, scandals and cronyism, balances of power, ethics, religious freedoms, state versus citizens, and unfunded mandates, and the list goes on and on and on. Welcome to Speak Up. It's directed at those who have fallen through the cracks, and it gives them a voice. It's your turn to speak up. To stand up and fight back.